Shalom. First and foremost, giving all credit to Yahweh Bashem Shai. Double honors be unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Yahweh Bashem Shai brought a thumb to the hopefully elect, wherever they may be, scattered abroad. And just inspired to do this lesson, because with all this information coming out, brothers is doing videos, basically the prophets are prophesying, and the watchmen that are set up, all right, they're doing exactly that, watching out again, these prophecies and things that take place, right? And again, just I'm just been meditating on, because we're getting into that time, where Yahweh Shai, when he told those women, don't weep for me, wait for your children, and of course, pertaining to pretty much the Jacob's trouble that took place during the Roman persecution, but also as well as today, as we're entering the pretty much in the beginning stages of Jacob's trouble, and all hell is about to break loose, because you got a lot of people, and I'm talking about in the Hebrew Israelite community, all right, guys, pretty much, with their mouth, pretty much they profess Yahweh Bashem Shai, but the time is going to come, that hour of temptation, and it's going to be a time where it's going to be made known what you're really made of. The true and ultimate test that's about to befall us all. Every one of us is going to have to endure this hour of temptation. All right. And again, just meditating on these things, just meditating on the terror that's to come, the possible scenarios, because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know a lot and how these things are going to play out. But one of the things that I is good to meditate on. One of the things I want to touch on in this lesson is dealing with integrity. All right, because when you look at the men of old, all right, the great men before us, all right, in certain death, these men, all right, they held fast to their faith, all right, and often talk about how that's a spirit that we need to be praying to Yahweh Bashem Shai, which if you didn't know by now, Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai is who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. All right. So yeah, again, because these we can look out throughout time and throughout history, the examples that were left here for us to learn from, as it says in Romans. Matter of fact, I'm going to get it now. Romans 15:4. Because as the scriptures say, there's no new thing under the sun. Romans 15:4. It says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. All right. And that patience, it goes into suffering. All right. Because, we only got to endure what's to come for a little season. Because best believe when the mark of the beast comes around, all right, when those chips start coming through, all right, things are going to pick up even. It's good enough, things are picking up now. Things are, these days are going by quick now. We're already about to, we're already at the last quarter of the year, We're already about to enter 2021. But even more so when that chip starts coming through, all right, things are going to pick up even quicker. So, being when that time comes, man, we just got to understand through the comfort of these scriptures, which is the comforter, all right, that we're only to endure these things for a little season, and again, during that time period, all right, it's going to be made known who's about it and who's not. All right, are you going to hold fast to your integrity, or are you going to pretty much wimp out, Because hey, man, this heat, man, everyone can't deal with it. You got people bugging out now and losing faith and turning their back on the truth now, and all hell hasn't even really broke loose yet. You know, 'cause like I said, you know, we're in the beginning stages of Jacob's trouble. You know, the beginning of sorrows, as the scriptures say. So you got people bugging out, losing their minds now. How much more when all hell really breaks loose? You know. So again, that's just one of the aspects I want to touch on this lesson. This lesson is dealing with integrity. You know, who's going to hold? Are you going to hold fast to the faith and hold on to the words of Yahweh Shemel Shai? You know, because again, you know, part of that comfort is reading upon the acts of our forefathers. You know, we come from this stock. You know, like I said, you know, you just read throughout time and throughout history, certain individuals, certain men, you know, they held fast to their faith even in certain death. You know, they didn't flunk out. You know, they didn't give up. You know, because they knew and believed in again, they had the comfort of these scriptures. You know, and again, you know, that's the spirit that we want to be praying for, man, because it's about to get hard, man. You know, and I just stay meditating on these things. It's about to get real hard. It's about to get real tough, real difficult out here. You know, but again, through the comfort of these scriptures, only a very select few, small remnant is gonna, you know, make it to the end. So, yeah, you know, that's just what I want to touch on. But two things I want to get on. I want to touch on is the accounts of Maccabees. The first Maccabees, all right, when pretty much you had Jacob's trouble, all right, because Jacob's trouble, you know, it's happened throughout time. You know, anytime you hear about the nation of Israel going into captivity and the siege, these sieges and things of that nature, it's pretty much us going through Jacob's trouble. But this Jacob's trouble that we're about to get into, all right, it's going to be like nothing. It's not going to be compared to anything. All right, this is going to be the worst time in history. And again, you know, with this grace period that Yahweh Shemel Shai has given us, this is why, you know, we build ourselves up in the scriptures. You know, this is the comforter that the Yahweh Shai spoke about. So I'm not going to read the whole history, but when you read, because I'm going to start at Maccabees the second chapter, but when you read Maccabees the first chapter, all right, it pretty much talks about Antiochus, all right, and you know, when you read about the Hellenization of the Israelites, all right, Esau, they came down hard on Jake. You know, they were forcing them to pretty much do away with Yahweh Shemel Shai, denounce his law, statutes, and commandments. All right, and you have Jake's, Jake's, a lot of Jake's, they said the hell with it, and you know, they went on with the program, with Esau's program, you know, but you know, the Lord deals with small numbers, and He's always had a small few, you know, a small few on reservation, you know, and that's where you read about the Maccabees, which is what I want to get into. So again, you know, when you just read throughout the Maccabees, this is where Hanukkah comes from, basically. But when you you just read First Maccabees, you know, get a little summary about what was going on, because again, you know, I mean, Esau came down that sword, and you know, things got hard. But again, you know, Yahweh Shemel Shai always has a small few on reserve. And again, I'm about to read about one of those accounts here in Maccabees, the second chapter, verse 17. It says, "Then answered the king's officers and said to Matthias, on this wise thou art a ruler and honorable and great man in this city, and strengthened with sons and brethren." Yeah, because to pretty much how you take a kingdom out, you go for the head, and you know, that can be on a major scale, you know, and that can be on a lower level. You know, you got a man, you know, let's see, he has a big family, a large family, you know. Let's just use an example, because typically if you know, someone's coming to rob a house, right, and everyone's, you know, just sitting on the couch watching TV or whatever, they break into the house, typically they're going to go for the man, the husband, he's the head. He's the one that's supposed to protect and provide. So again, just use that example because Matthias, all right, he was well, as it said in verse 17 again, it says, then answered the king's officers and said to Matthias on the wise, thou art a ruler and an honorable and great man in this city, and strengtheneth with sons and brethren. So pretty much Matthias, he pretty much, he had that high stature, that reverence. So this is why these guys, they came to Matthias, and they were pretty much trying to get to him and convince him to pretty much get down with the get down with the program like everyone else is doing, pretty much. Verse 18, it says, now therefore come thou first and fulfill the king's commandments, like as all the heathen have done, yea, and the men of Judah also, and such as remain at Jerusalem. So shall thou and thy house be in the number of the king's friends, and thou and thy children shall be honored with silver and gold and many rewards. And that's pretty much how they always got Jake, give them a little benefits and whatnot. That's how they got a lot of our people now today. And that's how they're going to get people when they start rolling with those chips, benefits. It says, then Matthias answered and spake with a loud voice. So this was something like, well, let me read it. He said, though all the nations that are under the king's dominion obey him and fall away everyone from the religion of their fathers and give consent to his commandments, yet will I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant of our fathers. So he wasn't just like, oh, well, I don't know. He, with a loud voice, all right, he proclaimed it, all right, pretty much, hell no, we ain't getting down with that shit. We gonna do, we gonna follow we gonna obey the laws of Yahweh Shem Shai rather than men. All right, that's what we doing over here. That's pretty much what Matthias is saying. And he wasn't, like I said, he wasn't, just lied about it. He wasn't a pussy about it. He proclaimed it like a man. It says, God forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinances. We will not hearken to the king's words. Verse 20, verse 21 again, it says, God forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinances. And another point just hit me. Another point on that, because again, it's, you got a lot of us, most of us, we it's easier said than done. A lot of us, we sit here and we're not going to take the mark, we're not going to take the chip and this and that. But again, this is why we pray for that spirit to be on us, because again, Matthias, he said God's will, if it be the will of Yahweh Shem Shai, because we know and understand it's not of our strength. The scripture said we the Lord called Jacob a worm. All right, because if it was up to us, man, we'd be through. And if you know anything about a worm, the characteristics of a worm, it has no defense or protection. It's powerless. It's defenseless. Against any prey. Against any prey or any predator. All right, worm can't do anything. It can't defend himself. So again, this is why we need the protection, the hedge of Yahweh Shem Shai. And that's why Lord's will. We be of that number, we be of that small remnant, because again, the Lord always had a small remnant on reserve. All right. Verse 22, it says, we will not hearken to the king's words to go from our religion, either on the right hand or on the left. Verse 23. So again, this is the zeal we want to be praying for this, man, because again, it's easier said than done. You just pray to Yahweh. This is the time to now be getting getting ourselves built up. Lord's will. He puts the spirit on us, because again, it's not of our will. Verse 23. Now when he had left speaking these words, there came one of the Jews in the sight of all to sacrifice on the altar which was at Modin, according to the king's commandment, which thing when Matthias saw. So pretty much, all right, you have Jake pretty much, giving in. For whatever reason, he just, he was like, man, the hell with this, man. Just take me in. And, when Matthias saw this, he was like, man, fuck this nigga, man. And what did he do? Verse 24, he says, which thing when Matthias saw, he was inflamed with zeal, and his reins trembled together. And his reins trembled, neither could he forbear to show his anger according to judgment. Wherefore he ran and slew him upon the altar. So Matthias, man, he ran up on him and killed him. And that's a righteous thing, man. Because ultimately, if you're not keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments, it basically, because none of us can keep the laws perfectly, but that which you can keep, all right. You shouldn't willingly sin. You willingly go off, because like I said, none of us keep the laws perfectly, but situations like that, man. And on another note, because this is probably like a 2/3 Jake, and when Yahweh Shema Shai gives certain of his men spiritual powers, all right, he's gonna put it in he's gonna give us the power to be killing some of these 2/3 Jakes as well. You're gonna be executing judgment on some of these 2/3 Jakes. Because one thing I meditate on this sometimes. A lot of times yes, a lot of times I meditate on this because of course a lot of Jakes, 2/3 Jakes, they're gonna take the chip, and people are gonna start bugging out, right? Esau might program something, put a thought into one of these 2/3 Jakes' minds, puts it in his spirit, puts it in his mind to, come after one of the prophets. And, the Lord's going to give him spiritual power to, because, of course the scriptures say it's a righteous thing to recompense tribulation to those that trouble thee. So basically, defending yourself, that's a righteous thing. And, and eye for an eye, as the scriptures say, but nevertheless, that spirit, man, that zeal, you're going to be seeing that when all hell breaks loose out here, because best believe 2/3 Jakes, they're going to be coming after us too, the prophets too, the men of the Lord. They're going to be coming after the 1/3, and there's nothing wrong with defending yourself, protecting yourself, even that means taking the life of one of these these 2/3 Jakes, but just showing that zeal that Matthias that he had. And again, this is the same zeal that we ought to be praying for. We want that same zeal, to go hard, go all in for Yahweh Shemel Shai. Verse 25, it says, also the king's commissioner who compelled men to sacrifice, he killed at that time, and the altar he pulled down. Thus dealt he zealously for the law of the Most High, like as Phinehas did unto Zambri, the son of Salom. And Matthias cried throughout the city with a loud voice, saying, whosoever is zealous of the law and maintaineth the covenant, let him follow me. So he and his sons fled into the mountains and left all that ever they had in the city. Because that's another thing, certain of us, we're going to be losing our homes, our cars. We're going to be losing our jobs. All right. Talk now is there's articles now that some of these jobs are going to be you have to get vaccinated, and some of the elders that I watch, they're like, hey man, the hell with it, man. They might be jobless by the end of the year. Some of the elders, they put it out there, they could possibly be jobless by the end of the year. But that pilgrimage, all right, that's another thing, that's out there, because again, some of us are going to be on a run. We're going to be running from martial law troops and 2/3 Jakes. We're going to be bouncing around from place to place. That's a possibility. But are you still going to keep hold and hold fast to your faith? That's what the integrity comes in. Or are you going to flunk? Because best believe, Esau, when they start coming with this chip, man, best believe, they're going to have shelters and places for you to live at and stuff like that. Again, it goes back to these little benefits that Esau is going to be giving out, which is going to trap a lot of Jakes and get Jake trapped up because they don't trust him, Yahweh Shemel Shai. you know. So yeah, you know, Matthias and, you know, him and his, you know, the people that was with him, all right, they fled into the woods. It says, so he and his sons fled into the mountains and left all that ever they had in the city. Then many that sought after justice and judgment went down into the wilderness to dwell there. So you see, hey man, you had to, because the scriptures say those that seek their life, they're gonna lose it. All right, and you know, I mean, again, that's just one of the many things that, you know, we got to meditate on. You got to prepare yourself. You know, you could lose your home, your job, you could lose all this stuff. Your women, you know, our women, they're gonna turn on us. Our children, they're gonna turn on us. All right, these are things, you know, we got to prepare for and get our minds ready for. Gird ourselves up. You know. Verse 30 says, both they and their children and their wives and their cattle, because afflictions increased sore upon them. And again, you know, things got, you know, they got super tough, man. And that's what's going to take place now. You know, things are going to get real tough, man. And again, you know, we don't know how this is going to pan out on our, you know, on our behalf. You know, we don't know what our lot's going to be. But again, is that going to shake you? You know, or it's going to make you. You know, you're either going to pretty much flunk out, or you're going to hold fast to your integrity, you know, and keep your faith in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. You know, I think that's pretty much it on there, because I just wanted to get the point how pretty much, you know, the Matthias, you know, he didn't, you know, he said the hell with that, you know, he's going to hold fast to his integrity and, you know, keep the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. But before I get the other account, I'm going to get this in Psalms 94. Psalms 94 and Psalms 94 and 16. Who will rise up for me against the evildoers? Or who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity? All right, so you see, because again, you know, ultimately, you know, are you going to take that chip or not? You know, are you going to hold fast to the law, statutes, and commandments to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai and say the hell with that chip, even in certain death? You know, or are you going to flunk out, you know, and you know, just say the hell with the laws of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, because it's written, you know, the destruction that's going to come if you take that chip. All right, you're going to be destroyed if you take that chip, you know. And yeah, man, it's a question of, because, you know, there's no lukewarm in this thing. You know, there's no in between, and if you're in between, then you're just on. You're just on the side of, hey, you gotta go. You know, the Lord's gonna spew you out. You know. So, you know, again, who's gonna stand up for Yahweh Hashem Yahushai? And who's gonna say the hell with that? You know, that microchip? Because best believe, man, you know, there's been talks about these concentration camps, Canada, all right, leaked information about concentration camps, which of course they don't call it concentration camps, but that's what it is, all right, these FEMA camps. And best believe, you know, because we're still talking about these things and people still, you know, calling us conspiracy theorists and nut jobs or whatnot. People still don't, you know, they're scoffing. They don't believe these things, you know, are going to take place. They don't think these things can happen, you know. But so yeah, you know, because like I was saying, best believe, you know, the time is going to come and when they're going to start rounding jakes up, and, you know, certain brothers are going to be taken up into these concentration camps. All right, you get that in Mark 13 and 9. All right, they're going to be taking us up. Talks about that in Revelations as well. All right, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. You should be pretty much, you should be tried 10 days, right? You're going to be locked up for a certain amount of time, and you're going to be tempted. All right. Revelations 13, Mark 13. Mark 13 and Mark 13 and 9. But take heed to yourselves. So you see, because the scriptures talk about examining yourselves. All right, when you take key, man, you really take the time out to meditate on these things. You really want to take the time out to think upon these things. And you need to ask yourself, man, are you really about this? Because like I said, our own loved ones, they're going to be turning us in. They're going to turn against us. All right, they're going to become our enemies. The scriptures talk about how they shall be a man's foes shall be they of his own households. All right, enemies. All right. Your dearly beloved grandmother, she's going to turn you. If you're talking about the Hebrew Israelites, your dearly beloved grandmother, all right, Big Mama, she's going to turn you in, all right. Your beloved daughter, all right, your little princess, your beautiful princess, all right, she's going to turn you in. Your wife, all right, who you love so much, she might be good to you, she actually might be doing you right, but hey. Like I said, a lot of people, they can't handle that heat. And I'm going to get that in Job, that account, because, because the apostles and elders, specifically the apostle Gabar, he often goes into how women, they don't have that integrity like a man, and I'm going to get that in Job. But let me finish this out. Mark 13:9, it says, but take heed to yourselves, for they shall deliver you up to councils, and in the synagogues ye shall be beaten, and ye shall be brought before rulers and kings for my name's sake, for a testimony against them. So yeah, because like I said, in Revelations, it talks about how, let me just get it. Revelations, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, but even with that, there's nothing to worry about, because, certain cases, you might get taken up to like a council, like a court session or something, and the Lord will put words in your mouth to testify against them, you might be a testimony against the heathen, to the nations, Yahweh Shemel Shai put words in your mouth to speak against, for whatever reason, for whatever case, whatever the instance is, the Lord will put the words in your mouth to speak. So that's why the scripture I just read, all right, don't think about nothing. Don't think about what you're going to say. Don't worry about nothing. All right. That spirit of fear that the Lord taught us, the Lord didn't give us that spirit of fear, Revelations 2 and 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Again, that word suffer, all right, patience. Patience is suffering. It coincides. It goes hand in hand. It goes hand in hand, all right. To be patient is to suffer, all right, because again, things are going to get real tight out here, all right, and it's going to get bad, man. But again, it says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil, and that's talking about the physical counterpart of Satan, which is Esau, Edom. The devil shall cast some of you into prison. Ye shall slack here. Cause slack it, cause my Bible's all worn out. Trying to. But basically, it says. Matter of fact, let me I don't have my other Bible, but basically, it just says, don't, because you're gonna be tried. It says 10 days, which that's just a number of just a a certain amount of time. All right, you're gonna be tried. All right, because again, once they start rounding us up in these concentration camps and they start hauling us off, that's pretty much that's the hour of temptation, and that day is going to be made known if if you're really about it or not. Because again, going back to Mark 13:9, it said you're going to be delivered. All right, whether it's the martial law troops taking us up, or like I said, even your own family members, your own loved ones. Right, but again, are you going to have that integrity? Let me go ahead and get that, because, like I said, hey man, you might have a beautiful woman, man, She might treat you like a king, right? She might be doing right by you, but like the apostles and elders say, man, um, you know, this thing, man, women, they don't have that integrity like a man. All right. Let me get that account of Job. Because, knowing this, the history of Job, all right, Job, pretty much, he went through hell. The Lord allowed Satan to take everything from Job except for his wife. And that's no coincidence. That in itself it's a heartache. All right. So when everything was taken from Job, right? Um, now I'm gonna read this first, because Job 1:21, because again, Job got everything taken from him. He lost his children, his wealth, he lost everything. All right, covered in boils, right? Cysts, right? I'm sure they were painful, right? Scriptures talk about how he was itching up, trying to pretty much broken glass. He was trying to itch it because it was, can only imagine how painful it was. But in all that, all right. Matter of fact, okay, so Job 1:21 it says, and so after all that happened, all right, Job, everything was taken from Job. How did Job react? It said Job 1:21 it says, and said, let's start at verse 20. Then Job arose and rent his mantle and shaved his head and fell down upon the ground and worshipped and said, naked came out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. Yahweh gave me, and Yahweh have taken away. Blessed be Yahweh. So with all that Job went through, all right, he still glorified Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. He had the right attitude, all right. The spirit wasn't on him to he say, the hell with this shit, man. F the Most High, like his wife tried to do, or like his wife told him to do. Let me get that. Verse 22 says, in all this Job sinned not, nor charged the Most High foolish. So you see, integrity. All right, because again, we have to have the same mentality. All right, naked in this, and people say that in the word today. Naked in this word I came, and naked shall I go. And again, we have to get in that mindset where we're gonna start. Hey, we might lose everything. Our women, our children, we're gonna lose everything. Our homes, we're gonna lose it all. But we're gonna curse the Most High, or we're gonna glorify Him even more. So Job, going to the second chapter. So again, after everything was taken from Job, all right, he took everything from him except for his woman, and that's not like I said, that's not a coincidence, because I mean, I'm sure I can speak for most brothers, hey, the Lord takes some of our women, man, that would actually, that would be peaceful, when we'd be at peace, if the Lord took our wives. But Job 2:9 it says, then said his wife unto him, doest thou still retain thine integrity? Curse the Most High and die. So you see, because again, women, they don't have that that trait of having integrity. All right, yeah, again, everything will be good, everything will be all handy dandy, everything will be all good and whatnot, but the minute something bad happens to you, all right, she'd be the first one willing to say, man, the hell with that. You see that all the time, like with entertainers, all right, they lose it all right, and they're women, she'll get with the next guy, she'll get with the next man that has it all. That's how women are, man. They're hypergamistic by nature. They're attracted to power, someone that's in a leadership position, someone that they're attracted to that substance, all right. And this is why when women, they need to be led, they need to be guided, because again, they don't have that, they don't have that integrity like a man does. All right. And with all that, Job, matter of fact, read on, because what did he say to her? Verse 10 it says, but he said unto her, thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. Because again, a lot of us may think that we got a good woman, she's doing us good, but let all hell break loose. All right. And pretty much her true colors show. All right. Because again, I'm sure Job thought that he had a woman, she was good, she was loving, she was silent, she's probably all of the above, but Again, when all hell broke loose, all right, she lost her integrity, or she never had it in the first place. But pretty much her true color spoke. All right, because again, women, they don't have that integrity, and again, we might be putting us in a position to where some of our wives are going to be rising up against us, you know, and this is why the scriptures tell us not to give our strength unto these women. All right, many great men, look at King Solomon. Many great men have fell because of women. All right, because when the time comes, and again, that's something, because that's one thing, I speak to myself first and foremost, because that's one of the things I tell myself, man, if my woman tries to, convince me to take the chip, they got us locked up. She's trying to convince me to take the hell with all that, man. I mean, you do what you got to do, man. I ain't taking that chip. But it's easier said than done, Let us be in that position to where, we're actually in a position to where, Esau has guns to our head. What, and, am I really going to be about that? That's one of the things I meditate on too. So, this lesson is geared towards me as well, because again, I don't know how this is going to play out. None of us know how none of us knows what our lot's going to be. None of us know how things are going to play out, but at the end of the day, it all ties back to faith. You put your trust and your faith in Yahweh Shem Shai. This is why we ask for Yahweh Shem Shai to, give us the spirit that these great men before us had. All right. Just to finish it out, it says, and shall we not receive, Salakia, what shall we receive good at the hand of the Most High, and shall we not receive evil? And in all this did not Job sin with his lips. So you see, with all that, man, with all that being said, Job, man, he didn't lose his integrity. He didn't give up the faith. He didn't give up the faith. He didn't curse Yahweh Shem Shai. He held on to his faith and his integrity. And that's something that we're going to need, man, because again, man, we're going to be seeing things that we've never seen before. We're going to experience stuff we've never experienced before, man. It's going to get hard. It's going to get real tough. It's going to get difficult, But nevertheless, man, what are you going to do? So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get the second account, Second Maccabees, the 6th chapter. Second Maccabees 6, and I'm gonna start at verse 18. Second Maccabees, I'm in the first Maccabees. Second Maccabees 6 and 18. Eleazar, one of the principal scribes, an aged man, and of a well-favored countenance. So again, just like Matthias, all right, one of those, brothers that was, an elder, a respected elder, all right, was constrained to open his mouth and to eat swine's flesh. And of course, knowing that it's against our dietary laws, we're not supposed to be eating pork, right? Verse 19, but he, choosing rather to die gloriously than to live stained with such an abomination, spit it forth and came of his own accord to the torment. All right. So again, this elder, all right, he said, the hell with that. All right. Because the scriptures talk about second Esdras, how they're going to be, let me get it real quick. Second Esdras, make sure it's still recording. Second Esdras, the 16th chapter. Second Esdras, 16th chapter. 68. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and that's those martial law troops. All right, they're pretty much Esau's gearing up and getting things in place. All right. And best believe the spirit of fury from Yahweh Shem Shai is going to be on those troops, all right, because they're gonna through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai, they're gonna be executing judgment on these jakes. All right. It says, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle, with things offered unto idols. And ultimately, that's that chip. All right, because they're going to be pretty much torturing Jake, man, and trying to convince him to take that chip,